Hello, everybody, and welcome to Shooklyn 2020. Yes, this is Brooklyn and kinda NYC's first event, Shooklyn 2020. It's a Dead by Daylight event where 5 players will compete in Dead by Daylight, gaining points through various tasks in the game. You know how it works. Fixing generators, destroying totems, all that good stuff. And 5 rounds are going to be played. Each player is going to get a chance as a killer, and points earned as both a survivor and killer will be tallied up at the end, and whoever wins is the winner. Play with the most points is the winner. Seems pretty simple, and I Can Go Pro. I'm joined by Zeranix, who I think we're both equally excited for this event. How are you feeling about this, Zeranix?
I'm super excited for the evening. I know I've been looking forward to this all week. I've been playing myself, so I'm really excited to see how the competitors do this evening.
I am as well. So, our competitors, really, I'd say it's anyone's game. I don't think anyone has any real advantage over anyone else. We're in custom games, so that means all of the different perks, offerings are available. Actually, scratch that. Offerings are not allowed in this. We don't want anyone to have any unfair advantages when it comes to earning extra blood points because, they could get in some offering to get that extra edge, and we don't want that. But now let's jump into our first game. Right now, we're following Jim Basko is Scared.
Let's see right here. So right now he's just trying to hide around specific rocks, especially in maps like this. You really want to make sure that you're finding a kind of a hiding spot, especially in the first transition, because it's really easy to just automatically want to go to that generator. You still want to figure out, 1, who the killer is, and 2, try to figure out where you're going to make your first move.
And it looks like someone's already been hit, and as we saw on the other side of the rock, it was the pig. But it seems that generator was sabotaged. And now Jim Basko just sitting on the other side of this rock, making sure he's not going to get caught. And
we got a hit with Birdie the headgear and already getting swooped up and going to the first hook.
Personally, I never saw the pig as a strong player. I always thought that the pig was definitely on the weaker end of the killer spectrum. What do you think, Zeranix?
I definitely agree. I think it's definitely a matter of the player who's currently playing the pig, because I've played against some pretty easy killers, specifically the pig, who just automatically either forget about the headgear or really don't utilize it, or automatically just forget that they don't get heard because they have a silent walk. So they also don't proceed to have the heartbeat. The survivors themselves won't be able to hear the pig come close to them. So it's really a matter of taking advantage of everything that the pig can offer. Knowing this particular killer and the way that he uses the pig, everyone's currently a little bit in trouble here.
Well, it definitely seems so. One person's on the hook, another's injured with the head trap. Now, my question would be, are you going to help your fellow teammates, or would you rather compete against them, let them die, and just try and get as many blood points as you can? Because at the end of the day, you don't actually need to escape, you just need to do better than everybody else. What would you do?
Exactly. Now, I would probably do a balance between all options. So making sure that I at least finish 1 or 2 generators, but also take my fellow competitors off the hook, just because it gives you points in the end of the day. So if your competitors are thinking, I'm just going to finish generators, it does max out at a certain extent. So they need to really keep in mind that if they want to take advantage of all point options, they need to make sure that they're balancing between unhooking, healing, and making sure they're working on generators, but also looping as well. So it's really a matter of where you really want to put in your points and where you put in your perks in the first place before you try to venture and try to help your fellow teammates.
That's right. You definitely have to have a balance, but right now, it doesn't look like Jim Basko is going to have much of a balance when it comes to helping his teammates. Right now, we've just seen him hiding behind rocks. And Venom Unfit Snake creeping around, almost saw him, but no! He hid right behind that rock. That was a nice dodge. I'd say that's the funnest part about the game, is just narrowly missing the killer with a nice little loop, a nice little juke. Oh, that was That was a little close. Ness almost had herself in quite a bit of trouble there.
Yeah, she definitely got a little bit close, and it's really to kind of keep in mind, especially when you're trying to juke the killer, is you don't want to get too overexcited and try to run as fast as you can away, because that will really give an indicator to the killer. So it's really a matter of making sure that we are trying to hide, especially with someone like this particular killer here. You want to make sure that you're just moving a little bit and then hiding it to the extent that you need to, and then stop so they're not looking for any sort of tracks or any chase.
That's right, because we have to keep in mind, if you're sprinting, you will leave footprints, and the killer is going to be have a much easier time trying to find you. But looks like Venom Unfit is just really taking advantage of the sneaking ability here. Every time we've panned to the killer, always, they've been crouched, hiding, waiting to strike. And maybe we're going to find someone soon. But wait a minute. I didn't even see that happen. One player's already been sacrificed. When did that even happen?
I honestly, I didn't even notice. They were hooked at one point, and then now they're just gone. So I'm kind of interested to see what happened there. But right now, it looks like the pig is now on another chase with Meg.
Uh-oh, that's another one down. I'm not sure if anyone's going to try and help Livy, but maybe it would be better to just leave it alone. Leave it alone at this point.
It may have been a matter of their actual headpiece exploding, because it is on a set timer, and at this point it may have hit its max, because it is important for people who are playing against Pig to remember, as a reminder, that the reverse bear traps that the pig is placing on the survivor's head, it does have a time limit. And if you do not find the correct jigsaw trap or the actual gameplay, he will laugh at you, and you will have to run to maybe even the opposite side of the map to be able to take that reverse bear trap off. So it may have been a matter of they just went to the wrong area.
Oh no, looks like the survivors' chances of making it out of here are really dwindling. Livy trying to recover in the grass, but Ness on the other side of the map, making sure that generator's trying to get fixed. So many skill checks coming through. But just fixing this one generator will bring a massive amount of blood points. I think that's probably the strategy here. Just ignore them, rack up the points.
Yeah, at this point, there's one person dead, one person's on the ground, and another person's hooked. And I imagine at least one of them has the reverse bear trap on. It might be best to try to finish the generators, or at least get down to one. So when your competitors die, that you're just looking for the hatch that's on the ground. Depending on how many generators and the actual survivors complete, there will be a chute at the bottom that you can find. You typically find by hearing a whooshing wind noise. And it will open for the survivor and will give them an opportunity to leave by themselves, which seems like they're probably their safest bet at this point.
Yeah, I never have any luck when it comes to trying to find that hatch. Always, I've run around the map, lost, scared, alone, and I can't get away. It usually ends up with me just trying to rush out one last generator, or, you know, I end up on the hook like the rest of this team here. We see Jim Basko on the hook. This is kind of the duality of Jim Basko. It's either behind a rock or in trouble. So I don't think he racked up too many blood points. But somehow, Ness still alive here. Good utilization with the self-heal. And probably still has a solid chance. Livy crawling around. How long should she be on the ground for? It must have been at least 2 minutes at this point. And I don't believe that.
Quite a while.
I don't believe that she will be helped at any point soon. And there it is. Jim Basko is just sacrificed.
Rest in peace. Let's see here.
Well, Ness running around again. What do you think the likelihood of her surviving this is?
Right now, it would grow substantially if she finished another generator. But right now, just her trying to at least survive at least outlive her competitor might be the best way to get her the most points at this point.
So even though there is still a survivor along with Ness, it's still possible to find the hatch. Is it not, Zerenix?
Yeah, it should be, just because there's 3 traitors completed, but only 1 survivor of life will give her the opportunity to be able to find the hatch. But the kind of the side of the coin is trying to find it before the pig does. So if the pig's already seen the actual hatch, then she has an even lower chance of being able to survive and escape before the pig takes her out.
That's right, because if the killer finds the hatch, they could just kick it closed. And at that point, you're done. You're done. There's no way you could win this one.
Yeah, the only other option you have to run to the door, because it will give you the opportunity to run to the door and try to open them. But with the killer, it's a matter of trying to open the door before the killer finds you. So if the killer has a clear understanding of where the actual doors are, and in a case like this, you really want to make sure that you know where the doors are, that it's less than likely. But I'm only saying this from experience because I've been against this particular pig before in a number of custom matches. So just from sheer experience, not likely, but you know what? Maybe I'm just giving them a little bit more benefit of the doubt.
Well, I'd like to go back to a second and highlight Ness just got clotheslined so hard. Did you see her whole body flip?
Oh. Oh my god. Sometimes just the way that survivors fall, it's just perfect. Oh man. It's just, oh my gosh. Ness just taking a hike, just trying to run as far as she can, and obviously not going to save her competitor, but honestly at this point I think her they have a reverse bear trap on, so it's very unlikely that they're going to survive. I think right now all she's trying to do, she hit her with the pallet.
What? She found the hatch? What?
She found the hatch!
What? I had no idea that was gonna happen. I thought she was done. I thought the pig was just BMing, dropping her on the ground, trying to farm more points, but no, she found the hatch and won. She escaped and got a massive boost in blood points. Look at that. 20k over 11, 9, and 7,000 blood points. That is a massive leap over her fellow survivors. Oh my god. I did not
Absolutely
expect
nuts.
that at all.
Honestly, you know what? I underestimated Ness, and I'm really excited to see how they're going to do in the rest of the competition, because not only did they out-survive all their competitors, but they outsmarted the pig and found the hatch and ran out. So I'm really, really, really excited to see how Ness does. Honestly, kudos to Venom as well for being such a great pig, because like we said earlier, it's just a matter of person who's playing the killer, and it could have been hit or miss, and they definitely did a great job. And interested to see how the others are going to try to find a way to come back up in points.
Yeah, no, I definitely was not giving the pig a very high rating in the beginning of the game. I didn't have any great expectations, but I definitely was proven wrong. They did a very good job getting 3 nice kills and putting the reverse bear traps on pretty much, I think, every survivor, and racked up a good amount of blood points. I believe it was 15,000. That's still an impressive amount, especially going in to face off with the survivors who did not get as much. Again, Jim Basko Scared got 11,456. Livy got 9,334. And Eben Wing got 7,535. That's not a lot, but everyone has a chance to get a huge boost when they're the killer.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely allows you to be able to kind of rack up those points, and hopefully we see the other 3 be able to benefit from those opportunities, because in the long run, it's a matter of, obviously, it's a win of points. And starting off a little bit lower, it might change by the end. This might just be a maybe even warm up. So we're looking forward to seeing how they actually progress during these particular matches.
I want to stop and think about the equipment that they brought in. We saw a flashlight, 2 flashlights, a medkit, and I believe 2. Actually, no. Sorry, it was 2 flashlights and 2 repair boxes. What would you bring into this? What would you take into the map?
I honestly, I would 100% bring the gearbox. It's like you said at the very beginning, it's a matter of paying attention to yourself. Even though I typically play more of a healer, I try to make sure that people get healed and try to get my points that way. But it's really dependent on your teammates. And since it's a competition, I would probably put a self heal on myself to make sure that I could just heal myself whenever I needed to and get those generators down as fast as I could.
Definitely. You have to be able to heal yourself. And when it comes to getting hooked, a perk that is a must, but also requires a little bit of teamwork, is the perk Deliverance, which allows you to have a 100% success chance getting yourself off the hook. But I also believe that it requires you to help a fellow teammate off the hook. So I think that's
Exactly.
definitely.
So,
Oh, no. Go ahead, please.
oh, no. Go right ahead.
So I was just going to say that that's definitely something you want to keep in mind. It's kind of selfish altruism there. You're helping them out, but it's really just for your own selfish gains to survive a little bit longer. I'll help you this one time, but I hope you go kick rocks and die immediately after.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a matter of making sure that you're kind of finding that balance. So at the beginning, I know Ness was hiding behind a rock. Might be the best option, especially when you're trying to use that deliverance power play by waiting till one of your competitors gets hooked, saving them, kind of giving them a little peace of mind, and then the moment that you get hooked for the first time, you can just take yourself right off.
Definitely. Or it could be used as a last ditch effort. Maybe someone else wants to take you off the hook just to get their own blood points up. Or they made the bad mistake of trying to get you unhooked while injured, so they just get slashed. The killer comes by, picks them up, and then you get a free self unhook. But now we're gonna have Jim Basko take the reins of the killer, and I believe he's going to go with. Is that the Wraith? I think so.
That is the Wraith.
What do you think about the Wraith?
Nickname Bing Bong Boy.
The Bing Bong Boy.
The Bing Bong Boy. Honestly, I hate him.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mostly it's so terrifying to first hear like that first ringing of the bell that you're just like, oh no, where is he? And having the capabilities of just sneaking up on the actual survivors, if done well, I have been like I've seen a complete survivor wipe it before and generators completed. So I'm interested to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Wraith either. If it was possible to ban killers, I would have got him out of here as soon as possible. But it's really hard to combat against the Wraith when you don't know you're fighting against the Wraith. Because his passive invisibility is just so hard to combat off right out the gates. If you know that you're dealing with the Wraith, you could kind of just look for that shimmer. But if you're left in the dark, it's tough.
Yeah, it's really up to the survivors to make sure that they're taking opportunities when they're hiding behind rocks or clearing a generator, that they're taking the opportunity to not only just face the generator or wherever they're looking, but also taking the advantage of being able to spin that camera around 360, look for any indicator of what type of killer it might be. Seeing that shimmer for 1 second can either make or break a game. So you really want to take those advantages when you can.
And you definitely have to have a perk that is going to detect the killer depending on where you're facing. So sometimes if you're working on the generator, just stand up, do a quick 360. If you get any hints that he's there, then just run. Well, actually, no, don't run because you'll leave tracks. Walk quickly and hide.
Yeah, exactly. If you were in the killer shoes, which killer would you decide to select?
So I the first ever Oryx cells that I put into this game, the first ever real money I put into this game, I bought the Oni, and I was incredibly disappointed because I thought he was going to be way cooler than he actually was. But I would pick him because I'm stubborn, and I paid for this. I'm gonna use him. So I mean, it's not like a fun pick, but it's what I do. What about you?
Yeah, I honestly, as much as I'm not a super fan of what she does, I usually stick with the plague. She's definitely not a top pick for everybody, but I know that once you actually see her fountains and hear her just purge all over the place, it's really, really disturbing and can cause some fear in some survivors. So that's usually my top pick. Next would definitely be the mistress herself, the huntress, and just go at everybody with some axes.
Okay, yeah, I do respect the plague pick. I think that the vomit launching is hilarious, but also horrifying at the same time. Hilorifying? Nope, we're gonna scratch that. Pretend it didn't happen. But plague definitely a solid pick along with the hunters. But let's talk about what all these players are hunting for. What is the end goal of this tournament? And that's because we have some HyperX gear that we are going to give to the winner. Now, HyperX is the official peripheral partner of Brooklyn, and today's winner will receive a HyperX Cloud Alpha S gaming headset. The HyperX Cloud Alpha S builds upon the groundbreaking Cloud Alpha and features HyperX Virtual 7.1 surround sound. Now, that is something you're going to need when you're trying to listen out for any killer that's coming for you. I mean, even though some of them don't make any noise.
No, it's definitely really important to keep that in mind and also make sure to remember that we're also keeping ourselves awake a little bit later on. I know for myself, I'm a little bit farther out east than everybody else, making sure to remind to drink your Red Bull. Thanks to Red Bull Gaming for being a part of Shooklyn 2020. New York and New Jersey players and viewers can receive a complimentary 4-pack of Red Bull by using the command !wings in chat and following the instructions, just like my partner here who's currently drinking a Red Bull himself. And if it wasn't 9 p.m. at night, I'd probably get into one myself, but I'm definitely going to enjoy one tomorrow morning after this event.
Oh no, I've committed. I've committed to drinking this. Okay, now I want to see Jim Basko's Wraith in action. I've never actually played as the Wraith myself. Uh-oh. He's uncloaking right now. So for those of you who don't know, the Wraith is invisible until they utilize their attack. Then they ring a gong, let everyone know where they are, and it's just a horrifying sound, really, when you're on the survivor's end of that. But after ringing the gong, revealing himself, then he becomes a tangible form and can start attacking people. And he got one hit in so far, but nothing crazy just yet.
Nothing too crazy, but interested to see. We see someone here currently. Ness is currently working on a generator right at the gate, changing up from last time rather than hiding. She's definitely taking initiative. Working on this particular generator on this map is probably one of the most challenging and worse because only one person can work on it at a time, and there's only one escape, which is the door that's currently right behind them. So it's really important to make sure that she's listening in, and if she hears that bell or any sort of movement, that she takes the opportunity to jump down through that hole and takes her down right to the base level.
Does the Wraith make a lot of noise walking around?
Not for the most part. It's mostly that bell, but with this particular map, you can actually hear the bell being rung from a floor above, which is very, very helpful, especially if you're near the stairs. So it's really important to keep in mind of that. I don't believe he doesn't make any noise while he's walking around. It's just a matter of that very, very loud bell when he rings it.
So right there, folks, you just saw through Livy's perspective, it was the Wraith phasing in and out from the invisible form. And if you pay attention while she's running, you'll see the red scratches that are around. That is what survivors leave for killers to track them down with. If you walk, you're not going to leave a trail like that. So that's why it's imperative when you're trying to make a clean getaway, you don't rely on sprinting too much. But if I was in Jim Basko's shoes right now, my main prerogative would be taking out Ness because she gained too many points last round and she needs to be stopped as soon as possible.
Yeah, even just going, and this is definitely a play that I would play with someone who is at 2 a.m., need to make sure that I get someone like out of the game, mostly because they're driving me nuts, is go to the generator they're working on, mess up the generator, and then continue to work on it, and then the second you hear the killer, just run for it. Or kiting the actual killer to the competitor might be another option if they really want to go on that road, but it's also kind of a catch-20 because you get captured yourself, so it's really good to keep that in mind.
Right, I'm not sure what Jim Basko was doing right now. Holding on to that survivor, potentially going to lose it after they wiggle out of his arms. Ness just working away on the generators. But I'm not sure why he decided to stick around and let her get dropped, potentially just trying to get more points for knocking them down. But I don't think that's the correct play. I think you have to just shut this game down as soon as possible.
Yeah, they may have gotten a little too greedy with that. If they had known that they had multiple survivors either on a hook or maybe even already injured, but with what they just did, none of the other survivors were injured at all. So it's definitely a risky play, but if they actually get the opportunity to take out more survivors this way, it might be the best option.
Venom Unfit Snake right here, I believe uninjured. Working on this generator.
I'm ready.
I'm wondering.
This is definitely a good generator to work on. What's up?
I'm wondering where the killer is and what his game plan is. I wanna know what is going on in his head. How is he going to try and win this game? You know, you have to have some sort of plan. You can't go into this
I'll go for the pickup if
without a solid idea of what you're trying to do. But I know he finally got a player on the hook. Jim Basko on the hunt again, but a generator was just repaired. 2 left. What do you think the chances of a full sacrificial round?
I think right now, just because there's already 3 generators completed, he might have a chance of being able to take 1 down. But I'm a little bit wary about the idea of having multiples. I think what right now he was trying to do earlier on when he had someone on the ground was making sure it takes longer if the actual person who's laying on the ground doesn't heal. It takes longer to actually heal someone up from the ground than it is to unhook them. So maybe he was trying to take advantage of the idea that maybe his fellow teammates may have not actually healed each other or were healing themselves or even would go and save their competitor. So in this regard, I don't believe that he's going to get a full clear, but we've been surprised before after last game with Ness being able to find the actual, the hatch.
Yeah, I definitely did not expect that, but also what I've seen from Jim Basko trying to get these hits on the survivors, every time he lands a blow, he reverts back to his cloaked form. Is that something that happens with the Wraith? I've never personally played that. But is it required to go back?
It's not. And when you're in the actual phased mode, you're not able to actually attack. So it may be him trying to give them a false sense of safety or trying to take an opportunity to attack some of the actual survivors that haven't been damaged. So he might be playing the hit a survivor, then go into invis, so another survivor comes and heals them. But that kind of contradicts what we mentioned earlier about them not trying to heal each other. So they haven't. This is the first hook for Venom, I believe. Let me just see here.
I believe whatever he's doing, it's not working. Unfortunately, 2 injured survivors, but no one is really on death's door here. He's definitely gonna switch up his strategy if he's hoping to get a significant amount of blood points. You have to commit to being visible and being able to attack these guys. I know it seems pretty tempting to go back into the cloaked form because you're a lot faster. But the movement speed that you're gaining by being cloaked is sacrificed when you uncloak.
Yeah, it might be best at this point for him to go back to his strategy earlier on, which means knocking down a survivor and then running towards someone else and trying to knock down as many survivors to the ground. Because if he gets every single survivor on the ground and hooks every single one of them, then it's done. If all the survivors are on the ground, unless one of them has deliverance, it's end game for them.
That is true, but he's got to just get somebody on the hook. What do you think about the idea of face camping or hook camping, which is camping someone who's been hooked and kind of just waiting out for them to die, but it also leaves the other survivors to do as they will and fix all the other generators?
I think that's only a really good play if you're at the end game. If there's no generators left and they're trying to escape, that's typically when you want to start actually camping the hook, because then you'll see you'll have survivors trying to go back to that hook and save the person. That's the only time that I would recommend doing it. But most of the time you want to hook them and then go a little far away. You might either attack another survivor at that time, or if you have the opportunity to see, depending on the perks that the killer has, it might have the option to run back and be able to take out 2 of them. But if a survivor goes to the hook when the killer is around, that is less than ideal, and highly do not recommend trying to unhook if the survivor is right behind your shoulder.
Also, if the killer has opted to pick up barbecue and chili, a specific perk for the cannibal, which highlights the auras of other survivors right after you put a survivor on the hook, definitely not a good idea to stick around for that, at least for, I believe it's 40 seconds long. So trying to help other survivors when they immediately get hooked, if they're going to camp the hook, let them do it. I'm not risking my life for that, especially where I'm competing against everyone else here.
Exactly. And it gives you an opportunity if the killer's oh my goodness, if the killer is just staying beside the hook, take that advantage, run to the other side of the map, get those generators down, because it takes it's probably about, I believe, 2 to 3 minutes for a hook to complete from 100% to 0. So take those advantages. If you have a gearbox, sprint heal, just not sprint heal, my apologies, sprint, take down the generators and get as many done as you can, and take those advantages while you can, because if a killer is just standing beside a hooked survivor, then it's better for you points wise to go clear out those jennies.
Oh man, well, it looks like Jim Basko is not gonna get any of the survivors. 3 walking through the exit, and a 4th is going to enter the hatch. Look at all of these blood points. I mean, actually, he's still secured the most blood points out of everyone. I am thoroughly surprised by that.
Yeah, I think what he probably did was trying to bet on how many points he was getting for taking down survivors, but not actually hooking them, because at the end of the day, he's still going to get points. I was not expecting him to get that many points for his gameplay, but he successfully did it. So he may have taken that into consideration at the beginning of the game, thinking, I'm not going to take down these people, but I'm going to get points there.
Okay, well, we were originally doubting his strategies, but does that mean we have the small brains, Ranix? Do we have the small brains?
I feel like he's on a whole other level than us. It's definitely a big gameplay there.
But at the same time, everyone got close to 20,000 blood points. So was it that big of a brain play? Everyone really kind of kept it close. Despite the fact that he may have a 1,000 point advantage, everyone else is trailing right behind him. And that could have been cut short by sacrificing 1, 2, maybe even 3. I mean, definitely 3. Obviously 3.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it definitely would have been a little bit more of an advantage if he took out the survivors rather than just knocking them down.
Okay, well, folks, we're going to take a quick break, but we will be right back with some more Dead by Daylight action. Stay tuned. Do not move from your seat unless you're going to go pick up a nice Red Bull, but we'll be right back. All right, folks. Well, we are back from the break, back at Shooklyn 2020, presented by Brooklyn and Kinda NYC. Now, Brooklyn, folks, is a dedicated esports video game and tabletop venue located in Brooklyn, New York. They're a local venue. They're right by me. I love the place. I've seen the place. I cannot wait till lands can open up. The space is great, and you can follow them on socials at Brooklyn, BROOKLAN _NY, and sign up for email updates at brookland.com. So they'll give you some more opening info there, and you can join online events like this one. So let's get back into the action, Zeranix.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to see what they are playing as a killer this time. Let's see here.
That's right. We don't know. We don't know who the killer is.
It's a surprise to us too. So we all get to experience this together, which is exciting.
So they're triple teaming this generator. That's the teamwork there. I'm pleasantly surprised by it.
I am quite being honestly, it's probably for the best, especially early on, to get that first Jenny out. Let's see here. We see Jim Basko, my absolute apologies, is currently carrying a first aid kit with him, which is interesting, especially with the gameplay that everyone's playing. But honestly, everyone's been shaking it up through these past few games. So maybe his option, or at least his gameplay right now, is to try to heal himself and his fellow survivors a lot faster. Oh, we see I think it's a nurse.
A nurse, really? I barely see anybody play nurse, but you know what? I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Same. Honestly, when it comes to nurse, it's either a very, very strong nurse because they put in the time, or someone who has not come in and played a nurse before, or doesn't have the experience. Because if it is a nurse, it's all about making sure that you're doing the correctly. Because the nurse moves at 0.75 speed, it moves slower than the survivors. So its only option to be able to move around the map, especially to make those kills, is to actually jump properly. So it's really a matter of being mindful of time. Oh, it is the nurse. I am very, very excited because I can only assume that they are well skilled, this nurse, and that is even more terrifying.
Definitely. You're not going to have a first time killer in an event like this. I mean, you could do that. I wouldn't recommend it.
It's a power play if you want to try that, but especially since they already got it down at 3 gens, so I'm interested to see how far they get through this.
Yeah, it looks like Venom thing has just been down, but opted not to pick her up. Got another slash, but actually didn't make any connections. Oh, actually, I just realized that Astra is carrying a body. Just put him on the hook. Doing pretty well so far. I did not even notice that.
I definitely did not either. They are making some very fast plays, and they're moving away from Jamasco's particular play of just knocking people down, not hooking too often. So we might actually see kills round.
So I'm interested to see if Jim Basko is actually going to make any hook removals, because the perk to the right, I believe, is will make it. So you have to unhook someone, and then the healing speed is increased by a large amount. So the question is Jim Basko gonna help them? Well, actually, it's gonna be Livy. But just in general, is Jim Basko gonna help out his teammates, or, like my LinkedIn friend request, will he ignore them? That's the question we have to ask ourselves in this game.
Definitely keeping that in mind, and we already see 2 people now at least bleeding, so that gives the healers even more advantage because they're leaving not only just a scrap running, but they're leaving a blood trail. So it's really imperative to make sure that you're taking those opportunities to heal yourself in cases like this. So if you're not having that self-heal, you want to make sure that you have a med kit with you.
Ooh, that was a clean double dash by Astra. You're
that
right.
was
These blinks are crucial, and they're coming in very clutch.
exactly. And like I said, it's where you have a very strong nurse player, and we're seeing a very clean nurse, like a very, very clean nurse at this point. She had essentially everyone at one point damaged, and before the two actually healed themselves, everyone was bleeding. So I'm really excited to see those kind of quick plays. Just because they have two generators down does not mean that they're going to survive. So they really need to make sure that they're taking advantage and taking the putting them down those generators when the nurse isn't paying attention, but also keeping an eye out for the nurse themselves.
So let's go back to the chances of success, Zeranix. What do you think the chances of these survivors coming out with a win is?
It is a lot less than last game. We've already seen one hook, and if she's staying around the actual large building and taking people down to the basement hook, it's less than likely. But it's really imperative right now for them to really focus down on those generators if they want to survive. But I'm going to assume at least one person's going to die, if not more. Oh, that
With
flip.
that survivor right there, and Venom Unfit Snake is just trying to get the hell out of there while they can, but Jim Basko is both scared and being carried back to the hook.
That is incredibly unfortunate for them, and we see two survivors currently working on generators, and honestly, if that's the first hook, you kind of want to pay attention to that generator, because if the nurse is at least hunting or just staying around the actual survivor, taking that advantage to finish up that 20 to 25% on your generator might be a better option than saving your fellow survivor right away.
Let's keep in mind, that's not just any regular hook. That's a hook in the basement. It is incredibly hard to get someone out of the basement, especially if the killer is nearby, because there's one way in and one way out. If you get caught down there by the killer, you're probably going to stay down there. But I don't know if anyone's going to go to help him. What do you think? What would you do in this moment, Zeranix?
I would probably contemplate how much I've finished on a generator, and if I know that the generator hasn't been server, we now are down to one Jenny. It might be a better option to pay attention to those generators, especially if you have your teammates there. But if I knew that she was this far out of the basement, or at least farther away, taking that opportunity to get that extra points to take your fellow survivor off a hook might be the better option. But I honestly would probably pay more attention to the generator, but that's me being a little bit more greedy, but also being having those flashbacks of being stuck in the basement myself and trying to save my fellow survivors. So I would probably stick with the generator, and we just had another down.
And I don't think Astra's going to take the time to bring him back to the basement. There's one generator left. You have to make moves now, and Jim Basko actually not too far out of harm's way, but he's not even going to need to make that save. It's going to be another teammate. I believe Ness was helped down by Livy. And now they're all off the hook. One generator left. I don't know about any kills coming in.
Yeah, I was excited. A little bit less excited now, but it's really imperative for the nurse to focus on the actual survivors that they've already hit, especially if they've already hooked them. So that's probably their best move. But if they get stuck in a loop, they're less than likely to be able to catch someone, because like I mentioned before, they're moving at a slower walking pace than the survivors. So it's not ideal to actually loop with a survivor. You want to go and try to sprint towards the survivor who said, oh, I'm just gonna get away, and then pay attention to the person right in front of them. It might be easier for this nurse at this point to try to find those long distance kills and those long shot kills that they could get an opportunity to hit. Like this right now, the two clean double hit jump and gets hit right with the pallet.
That is unfortunately not as clean as we were led to believe.
Yeah.
Right into a pallet. Astra is going to take that hit. So at this point, I believe tunneling is the only solution. That would be my strategy generally throughout any killer playthrough. So if you don't know, folks at home, tunneling is having tunnel vision on one survivor, following them down until they are down, putting them on a hook, and kind of just patrolling the area, making sure nobody can really get them, but also not being so obvious as to just stand in front of it. But at this
Yeah,
point, I don't know.
the only thing that they could probably do at this point is maybe just camp the doors. And depending on how far the doors are away from each other, the survivors might get the opportunity to just clean a
She's on the
door and
one on the
then
left.
leave
I'll keep an
without
eye on
even
it.
nurse coming to attack them.
Okay.
Yeah, this
Hey,
is looking
do I
to
pop
be
the door?
another
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
full
yeah,
escape
just
round,
leave,
which
okay?
I am
yeah.
incredibly surprised
He's
that we're
coming to
having
me.
any of these. I thought
He's
at least someone
coming.
was gonna. I thought we were getting full kill rounds.
She's cooming.
Probably every round.
It's me. Oh god, I'm out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. But it really been like, as we saw last time with Jim Basko, you can get a lot of points without taking actual survivors down. So that would be the strategy that the survivors have at this time. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just overthinking this. But that would be a normal for me. But here we just see everyone's currently running out. I'm not sure why they're working on a curse. Oh, there's the nurse. They're working on a totem at the moment, probably getting those last points before they run out the door.
Definitely, you want to take any chance that you can get, getting those extra blood points, and a nice little pass on the nurse. Everyone's out of there. Astra, no kills to be found, and that looks to be the worst killer performance so far. Unfortunately, still 18,000 blood points is a good amount, but it's not good enough compared to what everyone else was bringing to the table this round. Who
Not
in your
even
mind,
close.
Zerenix, I apologize, but who in your mind
No
do you think
worries.
is going to take this tournament?
Um, I will admit, probably at this point, just because the way that he took the pig on the first round, and the fact that taking that curse out, and honestly, once again, I overlooked this. Clearing out that curse, it looks really positive for Venom. He's been consistent with higher points, and he just got a 25k round in comparison to his like teammates. What are looking at about 20 to 18,000 points, which is a lot lower. And some of those particular players had even lower points at the game one. So it's looking quite positive for Venom at this point.
You're totally right. Venom has been making some seriously. I don't want to overuse the phrase, but big brain plays. I'm gonna say it a second time.
Yeah.
Big brain plays, especially that last totem, because they knew that victory was assured. They were gonna get away, but Venom decided to even get that extra little oomph, that extra little. I believe. How much are our totems worth?
I believe, depending on the severity of them, they can range from between 500 to 2,000. I imagine that one was probably at maximum 1,000, though. But it's got him quite a substantial amount of points to bring him ahead.
Yeah. Even 500, even 500 I would risk it because had full health, even if you got smacked once, so you could still just run out, get away, and there's no issue. So I'm right there with you in my belief that Venom Unfit Snake is going to really shine in this tournament. And I guess you could take that based off of the rank coming in with a nice solid 8 on the survivor scale. So maybe I spoke too soon when I decided that I had no idea who was really going to pull through. Could have looked at the ranks.
And honestly, while it definitely shows an 8, and like I mentioned before, I have played against him a few times here. Sometimes people may just switch over to another console. So maybe we're looking at low end ones because they've swapped over. I know for myself, I went from PlayStation to Stadia recently to allow myself to be able to go from my computer to my phone to my TV without any problems. We might just be looking at higher, or at least lower ranks. My apologies. It always gets confusing with it. Everyone starting off with 20 at rank 20 rather than at rank 1. We're looking at maybe some people who may have swapped over might not be super beneficial, like a good benefit for them at this point, though, if they're just brand new or if they've swapped over, because you need to get used to those mechanics and different movements, because it definitely can change even with just a different controller, let alone a different console.
There's definitely a change in the fluidity of movement when you're going from a controller joystick to the WASD of a keyboard. But also,
Exactly.
maybe I double back and I judged too soon right there based off of the ranks. Look at me making all of these assumptions, and I'm getting proven wrong every single time. But I don't want to build up Venom too much because it's still a close game. It's not like there was a massive double-digit lead in that last round. Sure, it might have been, I believe, 2,000, 3,000, maybe even 4,000 difference in blood points. But we still got a few games left. We still got 2 games, and anything can happen. Potentially, if I was the killer, Venom would be my first kill.
Yeah, that would be the very first person that I would try to hunt for. Especially if we're looking at later on with Ness being the killer. If Ness wants to make that kind of comeback, because Ness isn't too far behind in points, try to actually focus on Venom and try to take him down before anyone else.
Definitely. We are going to have to prioritize. Well, the players are going to have to prioritize if they really want to win. I don't think there was really any player prioritization when it came to the killers. Maybe we'll see it this round, or not.
Or not, we'll definitely see here. And I know earlier on we talked about Brookland, but I know another particular partner with this particular event is Kinda NYC, as they've strived to amplify the voices of independent game developers through podcasting and content creation. The team have been hard at work behind the scenes on something special for the community. So give them a follow on Twitter at kinda NYC to be among the first people to hear about the new events and different the next generation of kind of NYC. I am really close friends with these guys, and this is how I found this event in the first place. And they're a really great group of people, and they've been really making some strides in the community. And I'm really excited to see what they are up against and what they've been doing. And they've also been playing a little bit of DBD and some horror games on the weekends during Spooktober. So definitely make sure that you check them out as well.
Definitely, we are very grateful to the sponsors here helping put on this event. I'm having a blast. I'm sure the players are having a blast. I'm sure everyone at home watching this is having a
Exactly.
blast just like us. But it might get a little messy now that we're heading into the cowshed.
Oh, this is one of the either the make or break kind of maps because it has the massive cornfield in the middle. This can really deter killers from being able to go through there, and it is an advantage for the survivors because they have the opportunity to not just have hide behind rocks and buildings this time, but they have an entire field of corn, and corn stalks. So it's really good for the survivors to take advantage of that. And once again, we need to specifically see who the actual killer is.
Like
Well,
about
we're
this map is trying to get around one of these, I believe, water containers, whatever these big pipe-looking things are, or hay bales. I don't know, whatever that green container is. Running from a killer and kind of just slightly crouching behind it and then somehow getting away with it. That to me is the best experience in this game.
just hiding behind one of those, and oh, we just saw, I believe, a chainsaw. Let me see.
Oh no, that is the Huntress, I believe.
Oh, we are looking at the Huntress. My apologies. I didn't get to hear that soft humming that she typically does in my ear. So I'm very interested and very excited to see how they do with the Huntress because she's definitely one of my favorites. So I'm eager to see how they do.
Wait, are we gonna see the? Oh, I thought we were about to see the big brain barrel hide.
Oh, we may have. Oh, they went into hiding. I saw them a little bit in the window left, but it looks like we're moving away from the actual survivor that we're working on and maybe going towards the cornfield.
Okay, I'm astounded by that escape right there. But also at the same time, if the killer wasted too much time trying to hunt down Jim Basko, you know, a lot of generators are gonna get fixed. Already 1 down, about to be 2 down. So the killer's definitely gonna have to focus on one person, prioritize that time, make sure you get at least 1 kill. Come on, we need some sacrifices.
I want to see someone be lifted up by the entity and then just taken away off of the map. We've only seen 2 kills during this entire game, which is, like you said, a lot lower than what we were expecting. So hopefully we get to see some entity action this round.
Yes. The casters demand blood.
Blood. As the entity needs it, you must sacrifice to the entity. Sponsored by the entity. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we are the entity. Okay. Well, Livy trying to find some people through the corn. Honestly, the corn is a lot harder to see through than I imagined it would be. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Right when Basko was getting healed, the hunter's here. Or the huntress is here. Got an injury, but no downs yet. Oh, Basko once again face to face with the killer. That'll be his second hook if she manages to get him on there.
We're looking a lot more positive when it comes to seeing the entity this round and seeing the survivors die, because we're now looking at a hook for Jim Basko and 2 people currently bleeding. But also Astra's without hurt, without any sort of damage, and is currently just, maybe I'm, once again, I corrected. They already have another smack. Astra is down.
That is what you get for palading the killer. Astra, trying to be cheeky with it, only finds themselves in a worse situation. Interesting pick with the map. I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, this is definitely for this particular map. I think the Huntress has the advantage because she doesn't really even need to see. She only needs to see what direction the survivors are running towards and just throw the axe. So it's only an advantage here. A lot of long age killers, such as the Huntress, really take advantage here because of that long range attack, whereas some of the short short range killers are at a little bit of an advantage because you need to be up close and personal, whereas with those 2, they just need to throw and aim and hope for the best.
I agree absolutely with everything you just said. I was referring to Astra Ebonwing having the item the map.
You know what? Perfect. Also super helpful, and honestly, I'll admit I've never used the map during a match. I've never used the map or flashlight because I'm not very good with either of them. So I stick with the medkit and the gearbox.
To be honest, I've never landed a successful flashlight. Never, not once, not a single time have I successfully used that thing.
We now are down to 2 Jennies.
2 generators left to go, 2 injured players. Jim Basko, 1 more hook, and he's out of the game. And folks, I'd like to see it.
I'd like to see it too, and honestly, Jim's only option to be able to survive or at least see the end of the to take kind of a hiding stance and try to either stay away from the killer as best possible. But we now have another pickup with Ness.
Oh man, I can't believe Astra completely avoided the killer right there. Completely undetected. I thought that Huntress was gonna axe her right away, but no, it was actually the player behind them that got caught.
Yeah, and that disrespect that Venom just did.
Well, I'm definitely interested in seeing if Venom is gonna be able to make it out of here. Oh, barely seen by the killer. Actually, the barrel plays are here. The barrel, yes, this is exactly what I was waiting for. This is the gameplay that I was hoping to see. Some excellent barrel jukes here by Venom. Seriously committing to this generator. Venom, only about a fifth left. Let's see if they can pull it off, but no, we're switching over Ness. Never mind, we're back to Venom. It's okay. Because this is the last generator. Right here, right now, this is what is important. Ness on the other side of the map is going to get down, but Venom and Jim Basko are going to work on this generator together. And now it's up to them to open up those doors. Ness going to get dropped onto the hook. I don't know what the players are thinking, because the time to save Ness is right now. Pro Ness is struggling with the entity, but Jim Basko gonna run up and take him off the hook, and are they both gonna get away? Oh my god, and Livy had no idea it happened. But still, there is some time left for them to get away. The doors open just in time for them to get out. But still, someone is still out there. It's Astra on the other side of the map. Well, it looks like she's going to be able to...
Oh, perfect.
Get out herself. Zeranix, can you believe this?
I am shocked. Once again, we might not get another death, which is honest. Once again, really upsetting. For us, great for them, not so great for the killer either, because you're not looking at those great points that you get to sacrifice to the entity, which is the main goal. Ooh.
Is not a good scoreline for the killer. Livy, unfortunately, not taking home a lot of points here.
Oh, but once again, Venom's at the top, 21,000 points. And that is a large gap between Livy and Venom, but we're also looking at Ness with 19,000, Astra with 18,000, and Jim Basko, even though he got hooked twice, is currently looking at 17,000 points.
You know, folks, I had such high hopes for a sacrifice in that round. I had such high hopes. But it's just not what we're going to get. It's just not what we're going to get today. Well, we have one more round, and I'm really hoping that we could get some sacrifices here. Zeranix, we haven't had any great kills, but we did have an amazing escape at the end of that round. What did you think about that daring escape, that daring hook save, just out of Livy's POV, just out of her point of view, where they just walked away like nothing?
That would be considered a disrespect play for the killer, at least. I'm great for the survivors, and I'm really happy for them. My other side, which was hoping to see a clear kill of the survivors, is quite disappointed to not see any kills again. But here's hoping. I know at the beginning of the game about the actual stress of using things like my goodness, the ebony skull. Maybe it may have been a little more beneficial, because assuming that there was going to be straight kills, but here we are, and maybe trying to get that those extra points at the end. Here's hoping that Ness either tunnels or gets a kill. I'm looking forward to that redemption story and taking out Venom, and hopefully we see a little bit more of a boost with the other competitors, but right now Venom's at a very strong lead.
Absolutely needs to be stopped. He needs to be stopped. But if we are going to see him get stopped, it's going to have to wait for just a little bit, as we're going to a second short break. Don't move. Don't move. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be watching you. We're going to be on a break, but I'm going to make sure you don't move. Don't move. We'll be right back with more Shooklyn 2020. Welcome back, everybody. We are about to jump into the final round of Dead by Daylight, the final round of Shooklyn 2020. And me and Zarenix agree. It's time for blood. We've seen too many people survive these encounters. Someone's gotta die.
Yeah, we need blood as representatives of the entity. We need to see blood and we need to see sacrifices. So Ness really needs to bring his game, try to make a redemption. I know first game it was essentially Venom versus Ness, and hopefully Ness takes Venom out to try to get those extra points there.
That's exactly what we need. You know what? Beyond points. Beyond points, it's just from an entertainment value.
The storyline, the arc, the true arc. Ness versus him. We need to see that kill.
It's gotta happen now. I'm just excited to see what killer we're gonna bring in, and I think we're about to see it. Oh nope, it's a loading screen. Never mind, we're back. It's gonna be the Huntress.
We are looking at the Faced Huntress, which I'm really, really pumped to see.
This is scary, man.
The Faced Huntress. Does that add any extra ability, or I mean, it is skins make you win. Well, do you think that's true?
In Ness's aspect, we hope. Usually doesn't give any bonuses to these killers, but if it is hopefully it's a lucky skin for Ness and we see some kills. We almost saw some kills last round with the actual Huntress. Hopefully this round we see a kill.
Looking for a legendary snipe of the axe here. I'm waiting for that.
Yep, and we already see one particular generator currently. And oh wow, we already have a chase. See here.
Yeah, the scratch marks, telltale sign of a sprinter. That's gonna lead Ness right to the survivor going up those stairs. What will they find?
Goodness. Yeah.
Ooh, I did not know that hatchets were stored in lockers.
Yeah, she carries around 3 axes, and depending on what type of perks and options the actual hunter has, it benefits them in the long run. But yeah, all the sheds have her axes in them, which goes back to that really benefiting the killer.
And there it is. We saw a nice little axe lob and then a secondary slice to take down Jim Basko. Hook right there for an easy placement. Now, what's the play style that's going to be? Are they going to wait? Are they going to tunnel somebody else? Is there going to be a camp coming in here?
Story plot wise, I'm hoping that they're looking for Venom, but right now I think all Ness is looking to do is go out for that blood, which is what we want to see, especially in the last game.
That's right, folks at home. Uh-oh, looks like we're about to get our wish. Our demand for blood may be satiated. Hiding in that locker was not Astra's best move.
Not at all, but great for us to see this. Now we have a secondary, even just before, just right after my apologies, the first generator getting completed.
And now this is the medic team. Our special Dead by Daylight medic crew is going to help out. Jim Basko brought back to health. Question is, are they going to commit to more generators, or are we looking at a rescue operation? Keep in mind, Astra's on the other side of the map, but it looks like Jim Basko's slowly making his way over to help his fallen friend.
Yeah, we are. Let's just see. We have 2 currently on a Jenny, and I think it's probably not the best to have Jim going towards the person on the hook, but going for the points at the end of the day.
My God, I actually got scared when we saw the Huntress around that corner. Whoa. That is not what I was expecting, but the rescue mission seemed to actually be the right move because the Huntress is coming after Livy, who decided not to help her friend. Can they get away?
Yeah, here's going right into that generator instead of healing. That's definitely a play itself.
It's a baller move. It's a baller move that sometimes you gotta make.
Yeah, especially with the amount of people that have already gotten hit before the 4th generator gets complete, it might be best for them to take that advantage while the Huntress isn't away and not being able to hear that wonderful noise, humming of the lullaby that she took that advantage before running up to try to find a heal.
Now, I want to get your opinion. Say you're
Mhm.
in 3rd place, but there's still room for you to make a massive move in blood points. What is your strategy here? Are you going to stick with your teammates? Are you going to try and lone wolf it?
Really depends on how many generators have been finished at that point. You do get more points finishing up generators because if you get that great generator hit, you're looking at about 300 points, whereas only a great hit when it comes to healing, you're looking at about only 150 points. So you're looking at about a 50% reduced amount of points if you're healing. But it does in the long run to just make sure that you're healing others because this is gonna sound a little disturbing. It's one more person that the killer has to go up against, almost like build toward. So really, like a flip, like a toss of a coin. But right now, there's not enough generators completed for someone to benefit the hatch. So at the end of the day, probably best to get those heals up, get those generators, and then once there's only a few generators left, it's like every person for themselves.
That was a bold move trying to destroy that hook and definitely did not pan out because immediately while trying to disable that hook, Venom gonna get whacked with the axe and put onto a hook.
How did he know?
Now, this is what we've been waiting for, folks. We've been waiting for the Venom death. Is it actually gonna happen? Are we gonna see it? Can the snake be stopped? But also, is Pro-Ness gonna be able to snipe these hooks? These axes? He's all out of hatchets, but he's still in pursuit. Ooh, the slam right down on him from the balcony is gonna be a huge piece of this sacrificial pie.
They all are. Not right. Look at that, Jen.
Well, now Jim Basko fighting for life. Astra gonna come through with the save. Really surprising, but now they're both very dearly hurt. But it doesn't matter because Pro-Ness so close to another down. 2 injured survivors, 1 well-placed hatchet could spell victory. If even 1 survivor is dropped, if even 1 is sacrificed, the tides of this match will be turned immensely. Keep in mind, folks, 4 generators left. Even if they manage to continuously rescue the other survivors off the hooks, they keep getting put back on. It's only going to take so many times being put on the hook until you're just dead outright. But somehow, they keep getting healed. They keep surviving. Astra gonna get caught again. Ness really able to find and track down all these survivors, just whittling them down. Once again, Astra picked up Ness. What is gonna happen? Is it finally going to be the sacrifice we've been waiting for? Now keep in mind, folks, I have not been keeping track of how many hooks there have been on each player. But what I do know is, well, actually, that was the one we were waiting for. Astra has been sacrificed. It's now a 1v3. Ness immediately upped his odds of success in this game. There's more generators than players left to survive. And he found another one. Looks to me to be Jim Basko. He's gonna try and hit him with the pallet. It's not gonna happen though. Hit him with the pallet. Nice try, pal. Nope, we're gonna run that one back. But we're gonna run that one back. It's okay. But Jim Basko now being carried by the Huntress. Looks like that's gonna be his last attempt in this tournament. He must be sacrificed now because he was struggling last time we saw him on the hook.
Yep.
So Ranix, what's your take on this round so far?
I am incredibly excited because we have now seen 2 deaths, and while it is not Venom yet, it is looking great for the 2 survivors. It's going to be really difficult for them to be able to complete at least enough generators to be able to get the hatch to open.
Ooh, right around the corner, Venom almost walked into that house to find Pro Ness, but it doesn't matter. They're gonna get spotted anyway. Already injured. Let's see if he can follow up. I want the snipe. Hit him with the snipe, Ness. Heading upstairs. What is gonna happen? You think he's gonna get away from this run? You think they're gonna survive to live at least a few more, a 30-second run, a good 30 seconds of peace?
At least a few a bit longer, but it's not all super great. Ness has been taking out everyone else, and I know, oh, yep, and it's got to, because once again, people assume that they can jump off the floor and to be able to survive that. So, once again, the is become the super beneficial thing for us to be able to continue, and those.
There's a perk that allows you to, or it's an ability, a perk that allows you to kind of do a dash and dodge an attack. Would you say that dashing off of a ledge gives you a better advantage rather than just running off of it normally?
Yes. So just it recognizes it as a dash rather than jumping off, where, like, as we saw with just getting down, if you do that, then you're going to have that moment where the survivors recuperate, and we're looking for kill at this point. If they're not able to get themselves up at that point, us is just looking to find them again and hook them up, and then we're looking at a straight 4-team kill.
The stuff of dreams, it's the stuff of nightmares. We've been waiting for this. We've been waiting for this, haven't we, Zeranix? Oh man, finally, we're gonna get the clean team wipe. And I think this is gonna be huge for Ness's blood point count here.
Yeah, because with both survivors being dead, there's no way for them to survive unless one of them has deliverance, and it doesn't look good for either one of the survivors. Third, and we're looking at a 28k win points, like with Ness having 28,000 points at the end of the game, which is a large gap between them and the survivor.
That is massive. That is a massive victory for Pro Ness right there. 28k. That's at least 13k above the next most successful survivor. This was an absolute slaughter there on the mountain, and Pro Ness really showed everyone what he was capable of. Oh man, what he was capable of in the mind of a killer. But with that massive game, what do you think the standings are so far? Do you think Pro Ness shot up to the top, shot up right next to potentially Unfit Venom Snake to rival it? Well, I think we definitely are going to see a competitive blood point finish here. I can't wait to see when the numbers are tallied up. But before we do that, we are going to take a quick break. We're going to tally all the numbers up and see who is the winner of Shooklyn 2020. Stay tuned, folks. This will only be a minute. folks, well, that was the final round of the Shooklyn 2020 Dead by Daylight tournament, and we have all of the results right here. And we're gonna take it from the bottom, go all the way to the top, and announce our winner. So in 5th place, we have Astra Edmund Wing with a total of 75,683 blood points. For the 4th place, we actually had a pretty close matchup with that one. It's going to be Livy, 77,035 blood points. In 3rd place, Jim Basko, not scared anymore. Jim Basko is 3rd with 81,724 blood points. In 2nd place, one of our top contenders throughout this whole match, it's going to be Snake with 97,271 blood points. That means, folks, with the final round, a clean wipe as the Huntress, it's gonna be Pro Ness with 109,750 blood points. Congratulations, Pro Ness. You won
Wow.
Shooklyn 2020.
I did it. Oh my god. I'm so excited to win this.
You said excited. How'd you do it?
Well, I was going into I was watching how everyone played as Survivor during the early rounds. I think I lucked out being last. And I'd see who like competition was, and I mean I always play just Huntress. I actually only play her, and I'm like, well, I don't know if they're gonna know that I only play this one character. And then someone else before me played Huntress. I'm like, oh man, they're gonna do the same thing that probably I'm gonna do. But I ran some different perks, and it's scary just playing alone.
Right? You have the communicate. Well, did you communicate throughout the tournament with your fellow survivors, or was it radio silence?
No, we communicated. I kind of thought it was gonna be radio silence, but we actually tried to coordinate some stuff on like who's gonna pick up who, and how many gens we have, who's on a gen and who's not on a gen. So yeah, it was definitely, and I feel that's what I was scared of as well. Is by the end they would like figure out like, okay, let's do this. This person's good at saving this person. I'm like, okay, well, I get the slightly experienced players now.
Well, it worked out for you, even though that everyone had 4 rounds to get ready for a fearsome killer. They really didn't experience it until the final round. No one really did. Anyone even die in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round?
The second,
No,
I don't think so.
It was
I think
was just round 1 and round 5 that people actually died. I think the players got a little comfortable with survival, and you kind of dashed that.
well, the
pretty
first
quickly.
round I lucked out on escaping, like being chased and then being chased straight to the exit to the hatch. I lucked out there. So not being killed the first game. I mean, I didn't get killed at all. And I thought the Huntress, like the before me, because when I got hooked the second time, right before the doors opened, she smacked me. And I was like, oh, it's over. I'm just gonna stay here and not get. And the strat, I thought the strat was to just stay there so I don't get the points of living. But Jim saved me, luckily.
I gotta say, I think we were both very surprised when that. You've had some very surprising moments. me and Zeranix have both had some jaw-dropping moments. The first being when you got the hatch. I can't believe that happened.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I have the most trouble just normally finding the hatch. I'm like, I'm not gonna find this hatch. I'm just gonna run around and maybe I'll hear it, maybe I won't. And I found it.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations, man. So what you got from this is a fantastic prize from HyperX, which is an official peripheral partner of Brooklyn, and you are going to get the HyperX Cloud Alpha S gaming headset.
Oh my god, awesome. Hell
Yes.
yeah. I didn't know what the prize was for this. I was like, yeah, I'll do this. I love Dead by Daylight.
It's the glory of beating other people online with people seeing it, and everyone knows you're the best. And now you also get a fantastic headset courtesy of HyperX.
Thank you, HyperX. And thank you, everyone. And thank you, Brooklyn, for running this.
That's awesome. Congratulations. And again, a special thanks to Brooklyn a sick local venue we're going to have in Brooklyn soon enough. You are going to see. Check us out at Brooklan, BROOKLAN_NY on social media everywhere. Kinda NC, who are providing a platform with great podcasts and content for creators here in New York City. HyperX, of course, giving you the sweet headset, and Red Bull providing some nice wings. Everybody hit !wings if you're in the NJ and NY area to get some free Red Bulls.
Do it.
Well, folks, I think that is about it. Zeranix, run us off.
Have a wonderful night, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of Spookland 2020. We look forward to being here next year. And like we said, Brooklyn, once again, Brookland, Kinda NYC, HyperX, Red Bull, everyone who participated tonight, which is fantastic. Thank you so much for everyone who joined us this evening. And we hope you have a spooktacular night.
Fantastic. Take care, everyone.